back. Tri-State Sports guys. Norwalk football still in the house. I love it.
Love it.
In their green bottom. You look slim today.
He does.
Green is slimming.
It really is.
Yeah. Running up and down that sideline is really helping. I like it. 20?
Is that right? Stressful job,
I was
dude.
going to say, he's just stressed out.
Come on.
That's a lot of work in the film room. Great job. Great job. Top 10 storylines in the Major League season. We're going to close the yearbook on the Major League season.
Yeah.
Just going to, basically, what struck a chord with me.
Right.
Number 10, you've actually mentioned it a few times today. The Dodgers and how embarrassing it's become. Today they just finally decided McCourt is going to sell the team. Mm-hmm. But I guess he stole money from them or he used it for his own profit. Yeah. So when he gets the proceeds, he owes like Major League, he owes like the commissioner money. Mm-hmm. Somehow he borrowed money somehow. And I don't know. Number 9, your boy Manny Ramirez is just retiring.
He was my number 10. I didn't think you'd have that on there because it was so long ago. No, you forget about the story that was.
I'll never forget it.
I'll never forget the fact that I drafted him in fantasy.
And he was a starter. He retired. Mm-hmm. Then we found out he was suspended for 100 games.
He hadn't had a hit. Yeah. I think maybe one hit or something in the first 5 games, and he retires.
He tried to come back in the Mexican League.
One of the best players. Really? Now he wants to come back. He wants to serve a suspension and come back. One of the best players of our generation, and that's how he goes out.
And he fizzled.
One of the weirdest endings to a fantastic career.
Speaking of that, on that note, my number 8 was what I called aging superstars. Some of them age gracefully, like your Derek Jeters. Mm-hmm. Ichiro is starting to slow down, but he didn't win a Gold Glove for the first time in his career. And then you got guys like A-Rod.
Is that really Ichiro's first Gold Glove?
He's been in the no, he didn't win it.
Oh, he didn't win. Oh,
He's been in the league 11 years. He won the first 10. He didn't win one.
Yeah,
this
he
year.
didn't deserve it. Yeah, and he batted 270.
Yeah. A-Rod, who he's got 18 more years on his contract or whatever he's got.
Yeah.
So that's a big storyline. Number 7, Jeter's 3,000 hit, just the whole hype behind it, what it meant to him, and what it meant, how he did it, and then he turned it on after that.
That was my number 3, and I don't know, maybe I had it higher because we're in the New York area, but the hype leading up to all of it, and then the way he did it was one of those things that I'll definitely remember.
I just wish we knew more why he broke up with Minka Kelly. There's something there that's.
You love that aspect of things.
Well, how can you not? I mean, that's a. Weird...
I don't even know who she is.
You don't know
in Friday Night Lights.
Never caught that show.
Oh, that show is terrible.
Goodness
you shouldn't
gracious.
be watching that
now
show.
You don't know what you're talking about.
That show
you
is
don't know
terrible.
what you're
Friday
about.
Night Lights.
Number
Never
6.
Caught Friday Night Lights.
Number
sorry.
6. Some incredible years. Matt Kemp almost won a Triple Crown.
Mm-hmm.
My boy, Big Potato Valverde, didn't blow a save all year. And clearly is. Moose is losing 20 pounds. Valverde must have gained 40 pounds.
He gained
every pound that Moose lost.
Is
and it's all in
his nickname is Big Potato.
I never heard anybody say it. I think he
I will
gave
show
him
you
that.
on Twitter.
I love it.
The beat writer calls him the Big Potato.
Papa Grande, I've heard.
I don't know why. Maybe it's because he looks like he's got a potato in his belly. I don't know what's going on.
He's all gut, dude. That's what's awesome about him.
He's all gut and fastball.
He's all gut. He has that weird little. He keeps the ball behind his gut.
Yeah.
I think that helps him.
Exactly.
Like you don't know what's coming at you.
Yeah. Number 5. Some managerial changes. The guy from the Marlins was fired after about 12 games, right? And then they hired 100-year-old Jack McKeon. Riggleman asked his team, he said, you have till tomorrow to give me an extension.
Riggleman almost made my list. I wrote him down. I didn't keep him.
They said no, and then he was like, all right, I quit.
He's supposed to be this guy that's well-respected all around baseball. Hope he never gets another job. Although the Mets are looking at him as a bench coach or something.
Number 4, free agent busts. Jason Worth. Good luck with that contract, Nationals.
My number 5 better be your next free agent bust.
Well, and then, Adam Dunn.
Adam Dunn, the donkey.
Adam Dunn single-handedly ruined Ozzie Guillen.
And how many of your fantasy teams?
He ruined 3 fantasy teams. But he's got a lot of money in the bank.
He's got a lot of money, but it's amazing. Jason Worth was bad, but Adam Dunn was historically bad.
Yeah.
Historically bad after a guy who was as consistent as anyone I could remember.
Yeah,
at being 40 home runs, 38 home runs, 100 RBIs. He looked like a guy, like it was a pitcher up there hitting. He was that bad.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say.
No, we
number 3.
Number 5.
I have this high just because it always stuck in my mind when I was watching the playoffs. All these teams that wanted Cliff Lee wound up advancing further than the team that got him, and the reason that the Phillies got eliminated was because Cliff Lee had a lead, had a 4-run lead, and he couldn't hold the lead.
But what's amazing about Cliff Lee is, he had that stretch.
Hey, he won Moose a fantasy title.
He went a month where he had an ERA well under 1. I think he had 2 separate months.
First guy in history to do that.
2 separate full months where he had an ERA well under 1.
And he's got a 4-run lead in a playoff game,
and he can't hold it against the Cardinals. It's amazing.
Number 2, Justin Verlander's emergence from ace to superstar.
And he was my
He
number
was
7.
always good, but he was like Dwight Gooden in '85.
It really was. When you look at what he did, and he was that guy where, I mean, there was you look at what he did. You give him the ball, and there was nobody. And the fact that we talk about it a lot, where they were like, well, the Yankee fans were saying, well, we got CeCe to match up with Verlander. CeCe's great, and I'm a huge CeCe fan. He is not what Verlander was this year.
Nobody's matching up against Verlander.
No,
the way he was
nobody.
pitching this year. Number 1 was as a general theme, the epic collapse of the Red Sox, the Braves, and then in the World Series, the Rangers. Those are, historic collapses all around. As a Met fan, made me feel a little better because I knew I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
But unbelievable series, unbelievable season. A lot of teams folded.
The Red Sox, I mean, you could go more than just the collapse. Their whole season, the hype going in, then their atrocious start to the season, then they got ridiculously hot, and then they collapsed at the end. And now the turmoil continues.
Fried chicken.
Chicken.
Who knows what's going on
Big
there?
Papi doesn't want to resign. He doesn't know if he's coming back because he doesn't want to be part of it. I mean, it's like they regressed to their pre-World Series days where now they became the laughingstock Red Sox that we've all known. It's like it was amazing how quickly things happened. I mean, you go into September 1st, they were a World Series favor, and they came out of it now. Next year, God, I'd love to go to Vegas right now this season and see what their over/under for wins is, or what they're going off for World Series win. They're still gonna have a lot of guys coming back, but I mean, man, that was an utter collapse. And I mean, I don't think the Braves get enough. Credit's probably not the right word, but enough credit for how bad their collapse was. Because
I think it was worse.
It was worse, but because of they are so lucky that
They're
not
in
only
Atlanta.
well, they're lucky they're in Atlanta, and they're lucky that the Red Sox collapsed, and the way that they collapsed was much more in the news type thing.
Absolutely.
So we're going through here. I had Manny Ramirez's retirement as my number 10. Number 9, I went with Albert Pujols, his contract year in general. We went through the preseason and everything, and there was talk that maybe he would resign. Most people knew he wasn't going to. He didn't. He started out terribly. He then got hurt, and they thought he was going to be out for an extended period of time. He came back like Superman.
He did some sort of weird Mark McGuire situation.
He came back after like a couple weeks after breaking his wrist, and then he comes back and puts together a phenomenal season. Falls 1 RBI short of extending that streak of 30 home runs, 300 average, 100 RBIs. And then it leads you right into this offseason. It's going to be fantastic to watch. I still think he's going to wind up with the Cardinals. I went number 8. I went with Jose Bautista's follow-up season to that breakout year he had last year. And I was one of the guys who was not a Bautista believer. I was like, he's not going to follow it up. And he came back this year. They never want to pitch to him. He led the league in intentional walks. He had an on-base percentage of over 400. His OPS was in the top 1 or 2 in the league. He was just another. I mean, he trailed at the end of the season, but he had another phenomenal year, and nobody pitched
I'm
to him.
still not a believer in him.
How could you not be a believer?
Because after that whole article about them stealing signs, his numbers went like this. There's something to it.
Well,
He's not awful, but he's not hitting 50 home runs.
well, they're all nobody. Yeah, but maybe not. But the whole team's stealing
but it was
signs.
still a great story for sure.
100%.
He's a great player. I'm not a believer.
I put number 6, and again, maybe it's a New York area thing. Ray has taken himself out of the game to win a
come
batting
on.
title.
Come on.
Is a
Clown.
storyline.
Clown. It happens all the time.
Clown.
Look, I'm a Met defender and a
You?
I
I didn't notice that.
but that was embarrassment as being a Met fan. The first time we ever win a batting title, one of our players
It
was a
happens
batting
all the
title.
time, though.
But what I'm saying is this: it happens all the time. Nobody talks about it. This. Will be talked about when
It's
they talk
true.
about Jose Reyes won a batting title. People will remember this, and people will remember this about his career forever. So it is a storyline of this season because
fair.
at the end of the last day of the season, that's what goes on. I had Adam Dunn number 5, Red Sox number 4, Jeter 3,000th hit. My number 2 was the last game of the season in general. Just the last day of the season, the most exciting, couple hours of sports, any sport that I could ever remember. I mean, it was one of those things you're just flicking through. Thank God I had the baseball package. I'm flicking through all these games, and the way that all the games turned out, and then the fact that the Cardinals wound up winning the World Series after getting in basically the way they got in. I mean, it was you couldn't script anything any better than that.
Yeah.
And so that is something you're going to remember forever. I mean, that was the most exciting. People that don't even follow baseball have to admit that that's what makes baseball great. Was that
Absolutely.
final game of the season, because nothing really can compare to it. And number 1, you didn't have it, But to me, the storyline is just David Freese in the playoff. His World Series was fantastic.
David Freese.
But his whole run and the whole story behind him, you had talked about him a month ago about how the only person that believes in him is Tony La Russa. Tony
He
La Russa
really
loves
is.
him. And I said, with David Freese is going to be the guy, and I still believe it. He's going to get taken off for draft boards in fantasy baseball way too high
I'm
next
definitely
year.
going to draft him very early.
Early. You're going to have an early pick. You're going to fire away at David Freese.
100%.
He's going and then he's a local kid. He was out of baseball his freshman year in
He was
college.
like a druggie or something.
He was out of baseball. He comes back. He went to the same high school as Ryan Howard in St. Louis, and was always in his shadows.
That's a good ball club.
That's a good high school
That's
team,
a good
yeah.
ball club.
But just that whole storyline, it was just surreal. And then what he did in that Game 6 was just icing on the cake. Even if he hadn't done Game 6, he would have been a storyline. But then after that, he could do nothing for the rest of his career. And he's got his ripped up jersey is in the Hall of Fame when they ripped it off him. His bat is in the Hall of Fame. He's good. That is just an unbelievable story, and it's kind of like what sports is all about. It's what you want to see is those crazy storylines. So when you talk about a great storyline, it doesn't get any better than David Freese in the playoffs.
It doesn't.
Really
It doesn't. I mean, you correctly picked that the Cardinals would win in 7.
Mhm.
I give you the credit.
That's a good storyline. I made my honorable mention. Mike
Yeah.
DePalma's pick.
I mean, but
But I only picked 7 because you picked 6, and I switched from Cardinals in 6 to
Yeah.
Cardinals in 7. So
I
I
don't,
give
I
you
don't
an
have a
assist.
good handle on these, but I got James Stark's beginning of the Super Bowl run and David Freese. I don't know what it
I
is.
know.
I just see the gleam in their eyes.
I'm hoping you see a jet somewhere. You
We'll
see
see.
something. You see a spark.
We'll see.
Curly, maybe. Somebody.
I like
Give
that
me-
guy, Curly.
th-
He's
throw
not bad.
some bone. Tony, anything?
No.
You just happy it's over.
Yes. Correct.
Well, when we come back, it's become my favorite segment. I'm looking forward to the 5 and 10.
All right, man.
We'll be back with the Tri-State Sports Guys.